ones who've taken on this conversation regarding what type of black women get to make history. In fact, writer Shira Chair made a point in an article on the Medium about Cardi B and her brand of feminism that we've basically just gotten caught up in call-out culture on social media, and that we have a habit of disposing of folks that we deem as problematic. So we have Shira with us today. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you for coming. First, I just want to ask, what was going on at the moment that you wrote this piece and that prompted you to write about Cardi?
Oh, I think it was at some point after Bodak Yellow came out, and she had done the remix in Spanglish, which I was just like really excited about because like I'm Dominican, I speak Spanglish perfectly. So, so when she came out with that, I was just like, oh my God, like this is great.
Yeah.
But then there was just a lot of like general conversations about sort of the rise of Cardi B. And just like dragging her for some of the problematic things that she does like have a habit of saying.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, maybe all these things can exist at the same time, and we can still, you know, hold on to her as the artist that she is, without getting rid of her because she's problematic.
Okay. And so we have been talking about Cardi, Tiffany Haddish, even Monique, and this idea that, you know, some people are all here for them and then other people are just, you know, completely shutting them down. What do you kind of make of the conversations, both good and bad, that happen, you know, when women are outside of the box?
Right, I think it's super easy for other folks to kind of villainize black women, specifically like darker skinned black women, women from like the African diaspora, women with different experiences. I think it was really easy for people to like villainize Cardi B because she's a hood rat from Highbridge.
Right.
Repped the set, dropped out of high school at some point, didn't finish college, did retail, was stripping. So like all these things in terms of like respectability kind of like went against people's general conceptions of like how people make it or how they should make it.
Yeah. So what do you think though in terms of, you know, we say all the time, we just want to be ourselves, we want to be accepted, you know, by white people, but then it's like we still fall prey to that. Like, what do you think that's about? Or
I mean, do we really want to be accepted by white people? Because I know. And it's never going to happen because I'm never going to not be me, you know?
Exactly.
But I think, and going back to respectability politics, I think these things are just like ingrained. We're brought up in these systems that are based off of the institution of white supremacy, and white supremacy tells us that we're never good enough, that we have to work 4 times as hard as like a mediocre white man. We think that we need to fit into like general society, so by thinking that white people need to accept us is kind of like misleading. White folks generally are not going to understand sort of our perspectives or stories and where we're coming from, so I don't know that we should be squishing ourselves into this box.
And have you seen as much criticism like from the Dominican community as much like as the African American?
Yes.
Okay.
For her, they're just saying, well, this is not a good role model for us. She doesn't speak for us. Is this what our kids are listening to? And she's always like, well, I'm not your kid's mother, so you need to do your part to parent them, and also maybe they shouldn't be listening to me.
Right, they're too young regardless. Yeah. So how do we move forward, and who really is it that needs to kind of change and open up? Is it celebrities or is it general population?
So it could exist on both levels of the playing field. I think we shouldn't be so quick to crucify celebrities because of their positions in, you know, the music industry and society in general. Because we forget that they're also human, and humans like make mistakes. And I think also celebrities, like if you're going to put yourself at this like position, or like I'm gonna speak on these things, and like this is gonna be like my soapbox, and I'm gonna, you know, keep going back at the soapbox and keep talking about these things. You also can't be like shitty in every other sort of aspect. So like going back to Cardi B can be really transphobic. Cardi B kind of upholds the tenets of colorism, which is like really big in the Dominican Republic and really big in New York City and the Dominican diaspora here. So
that's which is similar with Monique, where people are like, well, you're very combative, you know, but now you're trying to go to bat for black women. So holding them accountable, as you said, but then we got to do our part too. So thank you so much, Shira, for being here with us today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And I really want to close this whole conversation out with a thought that writer Tanya Renee Steidham wrote in a piece on The Root, which is, you can't be unapologetic with an asterisk. Blackness encompasses an immeasurable index of idiosyncrasies, and its fluidity is what makes it worthy of endearment. Haddish's presentation of blackness is just as dope and valid as Angela Rye's.